Hello everyone. So at first I will show in this video I'm going to show you how you can install Tailwind CSS and specifically the apply feature. So there has been allegations, or rightly so, that Tailwind CSS looks ugly and it has bloated markup. But I will show you the recent new feature of Tailwind Intellisence, where you can easily keep your markup from staying bloated. So first of all, I will give this GitHub file. Here the details of Tailwind CSS installation is mentioned. So first of all, you need to create an npm init. Okay, so first you need to run name it, suppose apply feature version, everything is kept fast. Yes. Okay, then what we will do is then we will run npm install Tailwind CSS. So all of this is in the documentation, but I wrote it well in a way that it can help you later when you install post CSS, so all these steps won't be a problem. So now run npm install Tailwind CSS. If you use yarn, you can use yarn Tailwind CSS. So first of all, let's run it. It will take a bit of time depending on the speed of your internet and everything. So all the scaffolding and everything sucks, but I will tell you something at the end, so in which you will feel a bit relieved. So no vulnerabilities found. So now what we will do is we will just copy and paste it into our CSS file. Okay. Now, okay, let us run this. This is mentioned here. Create your own Tailwind CSS config file. So we will do this. This is needed. It is not needed now, but in future it will be needed. Okay. Now what we will do is we will install this. This is very helpful, and I will show you why. So now as you install post CSS, now if you don't want to install post CSS but you will need it, you can also use this, because your styles.css, it needs to be converted into another output.css file. The output.css file will consist of each and every class which is there in Tailwind CSS. So now we will create post css.config.js file. Okay, so it's just easy. Go to your VS Code and create post css.config.js file. So you will just copy and paste everything. Okay, this is needed for you. Now let me show you an example. So if you go to the package.json file, now see we have autoprefixer, post CSS CLI, and the latest version of Tailwind CSS. So now you need to just copy and paste the scripts over here, and okay. So let me show you something right now. Okay. Perhaps I'm doing the mistake first, and while I create a new folder which is build, then a file name output.css. Okay, so now if I run npm run build, I will get an error. Okay, so don't make this mistake. Don't name this class as build. Instead, rename the folder and name it as CSS. Okay, so now if you just make it CSS, now in a minute I'm telling you why this feature is important. npm run build. Okay, now it's okay. Now we can see that all this classes which are built inside CSS are compiled into this Tailwind output.css. So now we can just HTML file. If we link it to output.css, now we can start something like h1. Okay, so before starting, let me tell you another thing. First of all, if you give class equals to text, it won't count. Okay, so before every project, it sounds weird. So one thing I will tell you now, that is Tailwind Intelligence. So you see, if you disable and again enable it, okay, so now you see h1 class equals to, yes, now you get all the built-in classes. Suppose let us name it text to Excel text black and font bold. Okay, the good news is if you're using Vue or React, you can just in Vue.js, I haven't used React, but in Vue.js, just if you write add Tailwind CSS, then easily you get everything without any scaffolding. The same thing is also relevant while you're using Laravel. So these things, when you're just making HTML from the scratch, yeah. So you see, we get it. Probably there was an error. Let's see. Okay, yes. CSS. Now you see we get our desired CSS. So again, let us check. Probably I've made an error. Text to 4XL font bold. Is it? Yeah. So this looks better. However, now if I want to put this in first heading, so I'm like normal CSS, I'm using just one class. This is what I wanted to show you. And if you go to style.css, go first heading and apply. So in your terminal, you will always press npm run watch if you make any error. Because if you're making in a new class, when you're pressing npm run watch, it helps you use this class. Because now if you just you see we're getting the same thing. Now let us do something a bit different, or which is so let us make a class. CLWS. Okay. Suppose we need to make a header section. So sm flex py10 red full bg yellow, and it's let's give it 100 and justify center items center. In this way we can easily now just copy and paste this into this. So previously, okay, suppose first section, Control X, let us name it first section. Okay, so if we go to this first section and apply, Now if you copy and paste everything, look, there is a problem. There is an error that it shows apply cannot be used with smflex because it is nested at root. So what you can simply do is just click here and extract to the new rule, and now we get it. Okay, so now if you just see this, there is no error and we get this beautiful thing. Okay, and obviously I haven't, yes, so there is a reason. I think I made a mistake over here. Yes, first section. Yes, so now you see what a beautiful header section we get. So previously it was something that we could not do this, and if you're an expert in Tailwind CSS, you can start from here. You can style, you can have no more bloated markups, and you can name each class like you're using your normal CSS. So now let us make a button, and okay, let's give a line break, and if we make a button, suppose class goes to px12 py2 bg blue, let's do it text black, and let's look at it, how it looks. Okay, hello, save. Okay, now it looks better. Now Emily, this, okay, now this looks way better. And if we write font bold, this looks better. Text goes 3XL. Okay, that's just too much big. Let's give text XL. Okay, so now it looks better, and just let's make font semi-bold. Okay, this doesn't look bad as a button. Let's make it px8. Okay, this is a much realistic size. And now if you want, you can use b over bg yellow 6. So if you want, okay, let's make it 300, so it looks a bit better. The 300 is too much. 500 should be better. So we will just again copy and paste this markup. Suppose button and style.css the same other thing. Let's just go here and write and apply. Okay, so now I'll get an error, and there is, okay, so you see my button is hovered automatically, the error is fixed. Now let us run this. Yes. Okay, I don't know what happened. Let's, okay, I didn't, since I put a line break over here, but it was not supposed to come. These things were in the center. So let us remove this class and see the mistake. No, it was not here. SM, it's flex. So what was the problem? So anyway, there is a problem over here, and did it go outside the div? No, it didn't. So first section, style CSS. Okay, there will be flex here. Yes, now it's okay. So unfortunately I put it outside. Okay, though it should not be flex over here, but for getting this, let's just mention flex call. Okay, now it makes sense. Basically it will make sense while you are doing responsiveness. So now if you want to use the same button in everywhere, if you want to style this, you will just put like button, you just copy and paste this. People quite often ask this question. If you want to put red in it, your client says that no, make it red or make it pink. So you can change whatever you want. If he wants the text to be, you don't need to go inside, just like normal CSS, and this is much more easier in my opinion. Okay, so the text will be 300. Okay, so now there is a mistake. You see, this is the apply cannot be used with text. Okay, so there are some limitations which we'll find out. So let's okay, there are some limitations which we'll find out later. But let's now write one again npm run serve. Sorry, too much into Vue.js. Npm run watch. Yeah. So there is no error, and we see text ping. Text number 400. Maybe there was something wrong. Okay, bottom if you write text yellow 400. Now it's okay. That looks very ugly. So this way you see whatever you want you can change over here. So I felt this is a decent way of using Tailwind CSS rather than using the regular CSS, so you can easily use it, and there is no more bloated markup, and with this feature where you can apply, you can easily just press the apply feature and do it. So that's pretty much it. So hopefully it will help you.